Hey, I'm glad we have this bit of time. A few things before the homily. As you might know, last weekend I was gone to speak at the Los Angeles Religious Education Congress. It's quite an event. I would describe what it was like this way. 2 days of ridiculous travel, 2 days of fabulous conference. I'm really glad about how my presentation went. I will give a version of that here and at Assumption in O'Fallon and at Holy Infant in Baldwin. A slightly different version, but a lot of the same stuff this Lent. And those details will come later. Anyway, I'm glad it went well. Well, yesterday I got this surprise. I was at a meeting with the Archbishop, and he said, hey, I don't have a place to say Mass this weekend. How about if I come to your parish? So he'll be saying Mass he'll be saying the 9:30 Mass here this weekend. Yay! The following day it'll be a different bishop here. This will be Bishop Rivatuso, who'll be celebrating confirmation. Yay! Bishops everywhere, requiring a certain level of behavior on my part. I'll do my best. Anyway, Lent approaches. A gazillion things in the bulletin. Check it out. Most immediately, Ash Wednesday is this coming Wednesday. We'll have 4 opportunities to receive ashes here. At 7 a.m. Mass, a half hour earlier than normal. Father Leo will lead that. 8:15, upper grade school Mass. 12:05, prayer service with the lower grades. 7 p.m. Mass, I'll lead those services, and we have ashes at each of those, and you're welcome to any of them. So, for the homily, this question beforehand. Whether we're aware of it or not, we're kind of forming attitudes and values and approaches to life inside of ourselves as we go along. My gospel question would be what kind of attitudes and approaches to life do you think you are nurturing inside of yourself, knowingly or unknowingly, these days? Thanks for joining. Hope you find some benefit in this. Several years ago, I told some of you this story. I think it bears repeating today. At a fundraiser for a Jewish school that caters to learning disabled, challenged children, one of the dads gave a speech that probably most would never forget. First, Dad gives thanks to the school and its staff, and he cries out in a certain level of anguish, "Where is the perfection in my son, Shia? I've been taught all my life that everything God does with perfection. But my son can't understand things like other kids. My son can't read or add the way other kids do. Where is God's perfection?" The room gets absolutely still. They could hear Dad's anguish. And then this dad answers his own question. He says, "I believe that when God brings a child like this into this world, the perfection that God seeks is in the way people react to this child." And then he tells them about the day he and his son, Shia, walked past this park where some of the boys Shia knew were playing baseball. Shia asks Dad, "I wonder if they'd ever let me play." Shia's father knew that his son was not at all athletic. He really doubted it. But he approached one of the boys in the field and asked if his son Shia could play. The boy looks around for guidance from his teammates, but there's no one there, so he decides, all right, it's 8th inning. We're losing. I guess he can be on our team, and we'll try to put him to bat in the 9th inning. They find him a glove and put him out in the field. Now, in the bottom of the ninth inning, with 2 outs, Shia's team had scored, and now the potential winning run is on base, and it's Shia's turn to bat. Surprisingly, the boys let him hit. Now, Shia didn't even know how to hold the bat properly. The pitcher can see that he moves a little bit closer to try to lob it in softly to help Shia hit it. I mean, Shia swings clumsily, misses. So one of Shia's teammates comes up and helps him hold the bat to help him swing. And as the pitch came in, they together swung and hit the soft grounder right back to the pitcher. Pitcher catches it on purpose, throws it way over the first baseman's head into right center field. Everybody's yelling, "Run, Shia, run." The right fielder gets it, throws it way over the second baseman's head. We're going to run, Shia, run. And they cheered him on all the way till he got to home plate. And they all lifted him on their shoulders, and he was the hero because he had hit a home run to win the game for his team. That day, the father says softly with tears rolling down his face, those 18 boys reached their level of God's perfection. That goodness, which this dad calls their level of God's perfection, is in each of us. Today, Jesus gives each of us a strong twofold message about that. He says, a good person out of the store of goodness in their heart produces good, but an evil person out of a store of evil produces evil. For from the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks. So, 2 things. First, please hear this. That goodness is in you. It is. If anyone ever led you to believe anything contrary to that, they're wrong. Because you are, and I'm so sorry, because you are deep down good. God put some of God inside of you. The God of compassion and bravery. The God of generosity and kindness. First, that goodness is in you. Secondly, as Jesus reminds us today, we are each capable of evil. Out of our mouths and actions can come hatred and division, mean-spirited selfishness and harm to our neighbors, our families, this planet, this world, ourselves. So the question becomes this. Which of those 2 are we nurturing inside ourselves these days? The first or the latter? Jesus knows this matters tremendously for our own lives and for this world. There's a Native American saying, which I've long appreciated. It's articulated differently by different tribes, but it basically comes down to this, whatever the translation. There lives inside each person an eagle and a snake, and we become the one we feed the most. I'll repeat that. There lives inside each person an eagle and a snake, and we become the one we feed the most. So the question, these days, whatever is going on around us, we each have to ask ourselves, which are we feeding inside? What are we nurturing, aware or unaware, inside ourselves? As you know, this Wednesday is Ash Wednesday. Lent starts soon. Great. All the disciplines of Lent are meant to help us see more clearly what it is that we're nurturing inside of ourselves. Is it the goodness that God put in us from the beginning of time? You know, the goodness that welled up in those kids that afternoon in their kindness to Shia? The goodness that cares and serves and forgives and loves? The goodness that builds up, brings us together, encourages and brings even more love and goodness in this world? Or are we feeding that in us which makes our own hearts smaller, more selfish, even mean? There does live inside each of us an eagle and a snake. And Jesus urgently reminds us today, we do become the one we feed the most.